Hi everyone, Thao here. So Samsung just held their first Unpacked event for 2024 where they announced the all-new Galaxy S24 lineup. Huge shout out to Samsung Canada for giving me an early glimpse last week at the Ripley's Aquarium here in Toronto. Honestly, it was so much fun. As usual, there are 3 variants with different sizes, specs, and price points. The S24, S24 Plus, and the big boy S24 Ultra, which is the only one with a built-in stylus. Design-wise, these are going to look very similar to last year's devices with some minor tweaks. The S24 and S24 Plus now have completely flat side rails, rather than the slightly curved ones that we saw last year. The semi-glossy finish of the sides is also gone now in favor of a matte finish that pairs beautifully with the matte textured glass on the back. There's no denying that these look like the current gen iPhones, but hey, it's a good-looking phone, so I don't mind it. The big design changes with the S24 Ultra is that it now has a completely flat display. I know a lot of you just did a fist pump and screamed, "Finally," right? And I am with you because as futuristic as curved displays might look, it was just not SPen friendly and a total pain in the backside to find a screen protector for. The Ultra also swaps out the armor aluminum frame for a new material. I'm sure you've seen the words titanium plastered across the billboards all over your city from Apple's marketing department. Well, Samsung's not to be outdone because the Galaxy S24 Ultra features, well, you guessed it, a titanium frame. Could I tell the difference? Not really, and I bet you likely wouldn't either if no one told you. Other minor tweaks to all these devices include a sleek new speaker cutout on the bottom and slightly more pronounced buttons. Color options this year include black, violet, gray, and a very muted yellow that's more beige to my eyes. The gray is definitely my personal favorite, but if you want something a little more funky, the S24 Ultra in violet has this two-tone look that really stands out compared to the rest of the color options. On the front, the S24 Plus is actually the one that's getting a nice bump this year. It goes from a 6.6-inch Full HD display to a 6.7-inch 1440p one, matching the resolution of the S24 Ultra. This leaves the smallest S24 as the only one in the lineup with a 1080p screen, which, for its size, is perfectly fine. All 3 devices, of course, have adaptive 120Hz refresh rate displays that can drop down to a single hertz to save energy. The big story behind these displays is that they will have some of the brightest screens on the market, with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. If you're wondering, yes, that's brighter than the Google Pixel 8 and the iPhone 15 Pro. These displays are also getting an adaptive color tone feature, which is similar to Apple's True Tone, which corrects the white balance of your screen to match the light around you. While the S24 Ultra shares the same 5000 mAh battery as last year, both the S24 and S24 Plus are getting increases. The Plus and Ultra models can charge up to 65% in 30 minutes, while the base S24 charges a bit slower, charging at 50% in 30 minutes. Just from first impressions, the S24 Plus is looking like a very nice upgrade this year, and a lot more appealing than the Plus models in previous years. If you don't really need the added zoom capabilities of the Ultra or really care for the SPen, then yeah, I would take a hard look at the Plus models. One thing I will say after holding all of them, the hard edges of the S24 and S24 Plus aren't quite as comfortable in hand when compared to the slightly more rounded sides of the Ultra. There doesn't seem to be a lot of changes to the camera hardware across the devices this year. However, there is one interesting update. Samsung is replacing the 10x optical telephoto lens with a higher resolution 5x optical lens. It will still produce 10x optical quality photos, and thanks to the improved processing plus AI enhancements, the zoom capabilities should be better than last year too. Under the hood, all 3 devices will be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy processor and will have larger vapor chambers for improved cooling. 1.5 times larger on the S24, 1.6 times larger on the S24 Plus, and 1.9 times larger on the S24 Ultra compared to last year. All 3 devices will also see a 12% improvement in touch responsiveness. Both changes should technically make these devices better for you gamers out there. Many would argue that the Google Pixel 8 is the smartest phone on the market, thanks to the variety of AI-based features. But Samsung is looking to change that with a bunch of AI features of their own, and they're calling it Galaxy AI. Some of the features include the ability to summarize web pages, or even your notes into bullet points. There's a new generative AI feature in the photo editor that allows you to move things around or even fill in missing parts of an image. Now, I'll definitely cover all the new AI features once I spend some time with them, but Samsung did demo several of them during the hands-on event. First up, Live Translate during calls. It's built into the native phone app and will basically work as a real-time interpreter for you. So for example, if you're talking to someone who speaks another language, Galaxy AI can translate what you say and speak it to them in their language. Everything they say will be translated and read back to you in your language. Text translations are also displayed on your phone. While you can set the default languages in the settings, you can also change the languages on the fly too, right at the top during a call. You also have the option to mute their voice completely and just hear the translated AI voice instead, making the conversion less confusing. The translations happen right on the device too, which is great. I don't find myself needing an interpreter all that often, but if you travel a lot to foreign countries, you'll probably love it. Next was a nightography zoom demo. Using the Galaxy S24 Ultra, the Samsung rep took a 35 times zoom photo in a very, very dimly lit area in the aquarium. Trust me when I say it was really dark. The results was pretty good, but it looked even better when the rep pulled out an iPhone 15 Pro Max and showed us what a similar shot would look like using that phone. Side by side, it's really hard to deny how much better the Galaxy photo looked. But yeah, the shade is real. Samsung loves to take shots at Apple. The third feature is Circle to Search, and it's probably the AI feature I see becoming the most popular. In the demo, the Samsung rep had me point the camera viewfinder at a bunch of fishes. By holding down the home button, it activates Galaxy AI and instantly takes a snapshot of your screen. From there, you can circle whatever you want to search and it will automatically run a Google search for you. In this case, it gave me a little more info on the fish that I circled. In another example, he had me look up his shoes. What's cool is that you can make refinements to your search results by typing it in. For example, if you wanted a different colored pair of Jordans, you can type in gray and results will be updated to reflect that. This is essentially Samsung integrating Google Lens visual search into their phones. Overall, I do love how intuitive it is to use and can totally see a lot of people using it on a regular basis. Galaxy AI stuff aside, there was one other big announcement that I personally wasn't expecting, and it has to do with updates. Check this out. The entire Galaxy S24 lineup will get 7 years of OS and security updates. That's a massive leap from their old policy. This is a perfect example of why competition is good for everyone. Google raised the bar when they came out last year and promised 7 years of updates for the Google Pixel 8, and Samsung is following in their footsteps. Android has always had this longevity argument against it, and to be fair, 2 or 3 years of updates is kind of terrible when you look back at it. Now that two of the biggest names in Android are committed to supporting their phones in the long run, I think that's a win for everyone in general. Anyways, that's a quick look at the all-new Galaxy S24 lineup. You can definitely expect some more content from me covering all these devices in the next few weeks. Let me know what you think of everything they announced and if you plan on picking one up. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out of here. Bye!